Yeah, I wasn't gonna get up there.
Yeah.
I always try when he's not here. He being Justin. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. I have with me two special guests who, to my left, actually, one's right in front of me. Jordan Phillips, sound engineer, guru, sound guy, and Chip C-Hip Mitchell. I almost called you Chip Phillips.
Yeah, Chip Phillips.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a very
I'm now gonna
Yeah.
start calling him C-Hip though.
C-Hip.
C-Hip.
That will be infamous.
Yep, Chip C-Hip Mitchell.
Yep.
Who is what is your title? Production pastor?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to describe it. This is basically like a production manager over a lot of things that happen on the main room. Basically, my job is to take care of everything that happens production-wise in the main service and the main room. So that's
I like
generally that in a nutshell.
He the boss.
Yeah, you put that on your business card.
I don't have a business card. Never have had a business card.
Well, welcome to the podcast, gentlemen. And actually, Jordan is a special guest because Jordan is now the podcast producer for
I am.
Backstage with the
I am.
podcast. Backstage with the podcast.
It was
Yes.
funny when I called you last week to talk about this, just
Yeah.
about the producing part, and you said, I think I'm going to have you and Chip as a guest next week. And I said, okay, perfect.
There you go. You
you
get to
go.
learn the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that Scott is really good at the interviewing and the talking, and he's a very good behind the.
I'm a very good in front camera,
Yes,
not so
very.
great behind the camera.
Well, he has you have good knowledge and
I
have
was sitting,
experience, and he's helped me a lot because I've known Scott since he was 15. We've been on the road.
Actually, 13.
13. Wow,
No, yeah.
long time. And he did a lot of technical stuff. And
little child. Actually, I wasn't fat then. I was actually quite skinny.
Yeah, and basically we know that technically we always need to be able to be a help, and we all have different skill sets. And Jordan's skill set is definitely audio and technical expertise, as is mine. We're not front of the camera people, but we can make stuff happen and make stuff happen on hooking up audio and hooking up video and making it all happen. So the more we do as a team, the better we get.
Which
So,
I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I'm not technically savvy.
yeah.
People think that I am, which is funny. Like, people will ask me for computer advice, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a clue.
There's a
I
ceiling
turn it
fan
on.
in there.
Go to Best Buy.
Yeah. I
Call it Geek Squad.
Have you turned it on and off?
Right.
Yeah. Because I was an IT guy for about 2 years and knew nothing. And by the way, when they hired me to be an IT guy, I told them I know nothing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best job ever. I'm not going to mention the company, but I did nothing at that job.
I remember when you got that job, I said, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to be the IT guy. And I said, of what?
Yeah, that was a mistake on their part.
He went to lunch a lot with us. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
It's like, what
Yeah.
y'all doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
Let's go to lunch.
Yeah, I literally managed an app that nobody used. So I generated 2 reports a day, one when I got into work and one when I left work. That was literally 0 and 0. And that was pretty much my day. Other than that, I tried to learn to use 3D software. That didn't go so well. And I read a lot of news, listened to a lot of podcasts, and
And now you're doing one.
yeah, now I'm doing one.
there you
You're
go.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
thanks
it.
for the lies. Appreciate that. Anyway, moving on to more important things. The main reason why I invited the two of you here today.
Well, I had to be here.
Well, that's true. You have to be here now.
Yeah.
But to talk about kind of what we used to do and now what we do.
Yeah.
Wait,
You gotta be careful on how you say that, right?
Yeah. Or what we do
What
now.
we're doing now.
Yeah.
What we're doing now.
Because we used to be very portable. We used to set up and tear down at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
till 1 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, if you go all the way back, it started when we were in the theater and we were setting up and tearing down a theater and trying to get in and out of there and doing a service in a movie theater, which was always fun
And always stressful.
Yeah,
That
very
whole
very
time
stressful.
of the theater is such a blur to me.
Yeah, it was quick.
There are moments that just stand out though.
Yeah,
That just there's one person in particular I will not name that he said something to me and I cannot repeat it, and I know I shouldn't even be telling the story because people are going to want to know, but to this day it makes me laugh. And it was just our interaction while we were wrapping up a cord, and it was stressful, and it was just in that moment. Oh my gosh!
I think I remember who you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, and
he's
then
no longer here.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I remember is we had those giant projectors
Yes.
that were up in the audience, and there was some Marvel movie or some movie that was premiering, and it was a real popular movie. And I remember, because if you didn't know, and in the theater days, when we were getting out of church, they were coming in to watch a movie,
Right.
and so we're tearing down, and most of the time they would try to hold off the people. But these people made it into the theater, and I remember we're trying to get this giant projector down, and it weighed a ton.
Yeah, it was very
And
heavy. I still have those projectors.
Yeah, I know. I ran across them the other day. But we're taking them down, and this guy and his family sat down right by them, and I'm like, hey, you may want to move in case it falls. And he's like, I'm not giving up my seat.
Yeah.
And so he and his whole family sat there, and like I was fearful. I'm like, if this thing goes, that little girl's gone, because she's like, it was like a kids movie. So yeah, I just
The funny thing about people coming in and them starting to do the movies and stuff was somehow, I guess you gave me a key to the lights, because to turn the lights on,
I may still have that key.
there's a key on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so the theater people would come in and they would turn the lights off and we wouldn't be done. And so we would just go turn them back on, and the theater people could not figure out how they got back on.
Yeah.
Because we were like, nope, we ain't
Yeah,
done.
if
Turn 'em off.
you're ever looking, well, this is in the theater in Bossier. If you look in and you walk in and you see a little, looks like
right
light
there on
switch.
the left.
It's a keyhole, and then you turn that on, and that basically turns the work lights on to make it much brighter, because, if you're in a theater, it's dark. So, generally. So we needed as much light as possible when we're trying to get out of there. So we're loading out of the exit door. And, there were times that we had to get out of there in like 15 minutes.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it is amazing
Yeah.
because we used to, especially when we were in the two theaters back to back, we ran that cable up through the projector booth, across, and then back down, and we would be out of there
Yeah.
in 15 minutes. It is crazy to me.
And that was a lot of design. That's probably, if you were wondering what majority of my job is to design something to be in portable. And so when we started, the first couple of times we had the video, what we call video world, and that is where all of the cameras and cables and everything come into a switcher, so we can switch the cameras and they come up on the screen, and we're able to see those things and formulate the TV program or what goes on the screens. So the first time we did it, we had so much cable running through the hallways, and we're like, we may just have to do a trailer, because we were operating everything out of a trailer to when we were sitting up and tearing down. So we built a television trailer, and it had one cable that was 250 feet that ran into the projector room and then split out from there.
And it was big.
Yeah.
And heavy.
And they had to get
And
into
heavy.
the projector room and basically put a video distribution system to all these theaters that we were doing, and that was done every week. So it was that was a big experiment. We learned a lot. We learned a lot by doing that. We lost that first trailer to a tornado,
Yep.
which was funny.
And when did we get that trailer? What year was that?
We got that.
13.
I think we started that process. The first Easter that we had, we knew that we had to start simulcasting into a different theater. So that would have been in 2008. And so probably towards the end of 2008 is when we started the plans for that. And
Right.
sometime in 2009 is when we had that first trailer. And then I think it was 2012 when the tree hit it, and then we had to develop the one that we have now. So we've used a video trailer to just kind of, it's really like a portable production studio or a television studio to to make it happen each week. Now it's not being used.
Yeah,
So
I was about to say,
yeah.
for the first time since then,
Yeah, it just kind of
past
sits there.
3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah, it does.
the first time it hasn't been used.
Yeah. So we had to, but we'll get to that. We'll get to
Wow.
that when we get to
See, I didn't even know that
Yeah. It's not, no,
because
no
I
video
moved
trail.
it into place.
Right.
Dadgummit.
That's because
You did.
we still have to access some stuff in it. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what we did. The theater world is a blur, as like Jordan was saying. But then once we moved into the convention center, that's when things got crazy.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't miss the convention center at all. Not one little bit.
It is a chore because of the way that the scheduling is. And I think what people may not understand, or this is the backstage information, is that when we're doing like do good days or things that put us outside in the community, the main reason, and I think there's twofold reason. I think that one of the reasons is that I think God wants us to get outside the walls sometimes, and I think He allows those times to happen so that we can actually be in the community and do good. But a lot of the things, and when we're not actually meeting in the convention center, is because there's another event that trumps us. So we have to be creative in the way that we do. So when we're moving around and we're doing a bunch of stuff, a lot of that is based upon the fact that we have nowhere to meet. And so we have to get real creative. So if it's at the Civic Center, or if we have to go to, like for Justin Flom this year, that was one of the reasons why Flom was there, is because there, I believe, Mardi Gras is happening.
Yeah, it was the Mardi Gras ball.
Yep.
Z.
Balls.
Balls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
sorry.
lot
With
of
the
them.
Z.
Yeah.
It won't be happening this year.
No Mardi Gras this year. In case
So,
you didn't
And I
know.
just moved into Brock. I'm not even half a mile from the parade route.
Now they are still trying to do Highland, but it ain't gonna happen. It's
No.
not gonna happen.
So
Thanks, COVID.
yeah, thank you, COVID. So so yeah, and then Jordan's experience, tell them a little, like it's a lot of audio changing when we've moved
You do
from one
audio?
place to another. He's
I'll try to.
yeah. Let me give it Jordan is in charge of all the audio for everything. Pretty
Yeah.
much everything that you hear, with the exception of the video that Caleb and them edit. But anything that's sound production wise, Jordan is in charge.
So
of.
if you've ever had a complaint that it's too loud on Sundays, you can thank that
I'm
guy.
the guy. No doubt. I am the guy. I got a complaint.
I used to tell him that on purpose just to make him mad. I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Jordan, somebody says it's too loud."
Like, no, it's not. Nope, it's not. Yeah, well, I think you have to go back a little because I first started learning audio from you in the theater.
Oh, that's
So you were still in high school, weren't you?
Oh, I was.
I forget
God,
that.
probably.
I have a picture.
I was probably 13
Yeah.
because my dad came over with the original team
I have
to
a
help set up Simple.
I have a picture of you somewhere where you're like 16 in the room next door going through audio equipment.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have that picture.
Probably because there was so much stuff in there. I remember that.
Yeah, it's still.
It's definitely making me feel old.
You think you feel old?
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, everything that happens on a live realm is all coming through us, and it's been a lot of changes here lately.
Yeah.
Not so much live anymore.
Well, that's the thing.
yeah.
That's the change.
Well, no.
is that-
Well, I guess there is a portion of it that is live on Sundays.
Yeah, but all the music, man, it's completely different now. And,
Right.
And a thing that I honestly never wanted to learn how to do.
Record.
Yeah, recording and studios. It like to me, there's an energy and there's a fun about live, and that's probably why I got loud. But now it's all we pre-record everything on Wednesday, and then me and our broadcast engineer Daniel Kelly, he takes one song and I take another song, and we mix it down at home, and that's something that I never wanted to learn how to do because it wasn't that fun. There wasn't a lot of energy in that, and now through COVID, had to learn how to do that. And now I actually kind of enjoy it, and so
Aw.
it's been an interesting ride through all this for sure.
Yeah, so why is it now? Because I'm sure that's a lot of people's question. Why do we record the music and not have it live on Sunday?
Well, let's back up. Let's just talk, because I think
Okay.
probably most of the information that everybody's relative to this year. Because if you think about this year, it's been because
We've
like
had
if
a few changes.
yeah, just a slight bit. But we were looking last week, or I was actually looking yesterday because I was cleaning out the computer, and our first sermon series that started in January of this year, which is 2020, was Gut Check. And I'm like, well, that's ironic.
Isn't it ironic?
So
Don't you think?
if
Little too. Sorry.
so, in two and a half months, there was a lot that happened in that, because we had Justin Flom, which nobody really remembers that was the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah.
So we were still doing live. We were getting ready for Easter. I mean, we were
We had contracts. I remember because
Oh, yeah.
we had the Morris contracts, which is Morris, who's we used to rent lighting and sound from. And literally, I had one, Jordan had one, Chip had one.
We
Because
had a whole.
we had it
I
all
feel
ready
like we
to go.
had a meeting for 3 days about
Yeah.
trucking alone.
Yep. Yeah,
trucking and rigging and
I was
everything.
Getting a new light board, and
Yeah.
then COVID.
Yeah, because and it's traditionally what we do on Easter is we prepare for a big setup in CenturyLink. So it takes a lot of effort to be able to get the volunteers, get the right sound gear, get the right video gear, get all these teams organized to do what looks so seamless on
Yeah,
Sunday.
when we start planning Easter, we start thinking about it before Christmas.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Right when Christmas is over, it's
It's
what are we doing for Easter?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember because it just popped in my head. I remember California went to shelter in place, and I thought that's ridiculous. That'll never happen.
And you know what
here.
I did?
What?
Got on a cruise.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
I remember that. Yeah.
Dude, we got on the boat, and I'm like, there's no internet. We're not going to know. We're going to come back to a completely different world. And everybody that I went with are like, no, it's not going to happen. And I'm sitting in Mexico on Friday and get a call from Chip and said, hey, I'm on vacation, right? He goes, yeah, we got a problem because they had shut everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we had thousands of dollars in deposits.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, just to get just like, okay, how is this going to work? At that point, I believe it was the end of spring break. Yes, it was the end of
Yep.
the spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, 'cause
I
I
go home
remember-
on Friday, and Julie and my daughter Allie are both in Dallas, and we get that call of, yes, you cannot meet over 250 people. Well, for us alone, and so the question that I got, I was like probably around noon, and my phone just started blowing up. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I was like, well, we're gonna go online because that's what we have to do. And then the next immediate thing was, okay, I guess we're gonna have to figure out Easter and just put it on hold, because we thought nobody really knew how that was going to all play out. I think in hindsight, nobody kind of still doesn't really know how it's all going to play out. But anyway, we had to at that point go, all right, we were already set up to start having online services because we had already done that. We'd been doing it for 5 years, so we were kind of familiar with it. But now we've gotten really familiar with it. So the question was, why do we do the band? Okay. So in order to do the band the way we wanted it to be, the best that it could be audio-wise on the actual service that we watch. So Jordan can speak into that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think the other part, the one big main reason we did it was because trying to shoot it live and do it all live was, in the convention center, we didn't have a broadcast room. So for us to have the band and the snare drum just being as loud as it can possibly be, we couldn't hear. I couldn't reference what was going out. And so there was that part of it. And then
Personnel is a big issue too
Yeah,
with
yeah.
cameras.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
that part of it, and then the other part of it was our band was growing in the sense of how many channels we were running, and the consoles that we had only did a certain amount, and we were going over that amount, and so we had to start renting a console. Well, we said, well, we can rent one console, we can mix it all in post, and so we're only spending money on one console rather than spending money on 3 consoles. So that was another part of it.
And
But
post means you record it and then you put it out.
And so I think that those 2 main reasons were why we kind of went to that. And
then another reason I was going to touch on is that at a certain point in March, it was limited to 10 people.
oh yeah,
And we had to figure out, all right, so a certain
remember
section
that.
is the band. Jordan had to have two audio people, and then it left me with 3 camera guys, me being one of them. So we had to go, all right, we're going to film the band with 3 cameras and record it and edit it and put it out as part of the service, but it's recorded on Wednesdays. That gave me and Jordan a chance to edit the whole thing.
right.
And so we're a lot better at it now, but that was kind of difficult because you only get 3 camera shots, so we had to run the thing there's sometimes we run it like 4 to 5 times,
Yeah.
and just record it and record it and record it.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
Because
yeah.
there was one infamous night in the very early days when I went, I'm out. And
Yeah.
I just,
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other part of it too is that why we're still doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
One, we're putting out a great product, and 2, we still can't technically have a live band.
Right.
We still, by the state mandate, can't have a live band in a building
Yeah. Because we're not
in a church building.
right.
Right.
And
So that's the other part of it.
So there's no live music being played anywhere in a facility. So yes, we, churches have. If you have a facility, you're pretty much can do what you want to do, what you should do, and what you want to do are 2 different things. But that's not a discussion that we're getting here today.
Right.
So anyway, I think, hey, look, it gives us an opportunity to get creative, and it's also. I know Jordan could speak to this. I can't tell you how much I've learned this year between streaming and between editing and how to shoot things and how to designate things out. In one way, it's been really cool because this is the first time in history that we have been set up for such a long period of time. We did tear down in the convention center and move over to the municipal, so that was a big undertaking.
But even then, like, just as someone that used to be part of the club, the teardown setup club and the lighting guy, teardown and setup wasn't easy. It's not.
No.
I won't say it's not easy, but it's not as seamless as it used to be.
Well, and there's always complications.
Well, but I think even now, because of just the way that how it is now, with our setup and teardown having changed, not our teardown, but our setup having changed with kind of the TV studio atmosphere, it's just different. It's not as easy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny. I got up Sunday morning, and I thought in my head, man, we used to be getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning almost every Sunday.
Yeah, I was at Whataburger at 5 a.m. almost every Sunday.
Yeah, and you bring me some breakfast. That was
would.
nice of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it for me and a couple of our other audio guys, we would do shows elsewhere Saturday nights until 11, midnight, 1 in the morning, and then we were at the church at 5 a.m. So it was. My wife knew that mandatory naps happened on Sunday.
Well, but now I think the good thing out of this, and this is what I was talking with somebody yesterday. I can't remember who it was. Golly, I cannot remember who it was. Anyway, now, because I think a lot of us, especially like me in particular, I'm just gonna toot my own horn. Like I was burning out because I've been a part of this for 13 years, and setting up and tearing down every Sunday, and then coming on full time, and it's just like, after 4 years of full time, but really 13 years of just set up and tear down, set up and tear down, set up and tear down. Got to do, and it's stressful, it's high pressure, and I know it's been a nice break.
For sure.
I don't miss it one little bit. Now I miss the interaction with the people and all that stuff, but it's I like that I'm at Bojack's now. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that I do miss, and that I think it always kept us engaged, was we were constantly changing. So we were moving venues, or we're moving the set, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. So it wasn't, I think that's the only thing that kept a lot of people not from getting burnt out so fast, was that we were constantly doing something different.
Oh yeah.
And so that is one thing that I really miss, is
Yeah,
I'm glad you miss
doing
it.
other
I
stuff.
miss
I'm glad you miss
I miss the volunteers, because honestly, the volunteers
Well,
are what
yeah.
makes it happen.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I miss, like I said, I
Yeah.
miss the people, and I miss the interaction, because we're definitely a close knit group, and I miss seeing Gary and all those guys, because we all picked on each other and had fun, and stuff like, I miss that part of it, but I don't miss waking up at 4 to be there by 5, or getting a trailer hooked up in the rain, in the cold, and in the dark. I don't miss any of that.
Yeah.
I do miss the people, though, walking in and messing with Joe, or whoever would be there,
Yeah.
getting, yelled at because they don't think I'm paying attention when I'm backing the trailer in.
Yeah, I do miss you missing cues, or something not
'Cause I was
happening
asleep.
right on the on the console, and you're like, I hit the button, I don't know what's happening.
I
Hey,
can't.
Scott, can you stop looking at Instagram for
And
like
the
half a
people
second?
sitting around us are like, what is
Well, no.
happening?
There were times when the board would just freak out, and I wouldn't know why. It would just
User error.
You won't know. It was not user error. There was one time when we had a cable just die on us, and the whole
That
stage
did
went
happen.
black.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that is true. And that was actually last Christmas, because it was during the Vicky's dancers.
yeah.
Yeah, they were dancing in the
dancing
dark.
Yeah, and
dark.
I will never forget that parent screaming at me behind me, "Get light on my girls," and me turning around and going, "I can't."
Yeah, you know that parent, that wasn't a parent. That was Vicky Fulsham.
Oh,
that was
sorry,
that was
Vicky.
Vicky of Vicky's dancers.
Yeah, I just remember it because they kept telling me to put light. I'm
But
like,
she was
I,
real sweet. She was
I
real
don't
sweet
know what
afterwards.
you want me to tell you.
All
I
the
cannot
people were
do
coming
it.
to you.
Yeah,
Chips
it's like-
running out.
Yeah.
I think John Vance ran out.
Yeah, I
Everybody's
remember
running
because
this-
Christy A had a monologue, and John Vance took 2 lights and like work lights. I think they were work lights, and just pointed them at
he
her.
did it.
That was the only light we had
He
for.
made it work.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it was one little cable.
Yeah,
One
that's
little
all it
cable
was.
had just gone out. We rolled it down. I changed the cable out. Came right back on. And we had the second service. They saw the girls, and it was great.
yeah.
You know, so
So I don't miss any of that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it is
you-
stressful, because I think you have to remember is that, I guess on the backstage part of it, what people probably don't gather is that most people, when they're coming up for church or whatever, in any church, and not necessarily ours, but in any church, they just come in and say, "Oh, this is works," you know. But there is a team of people
large team.
that make it happen every week. And the thing that's so cool about it is that everybody there is an opportunity for them to use their gifts and abilities to do that. But what it does is because it is the focal point of the entire church, and you come in there to hear the message or to hear the music or whatever, the scrutiny of it is the highest level. And I've been doing this since I was 15, and I'm in that area. It is the most scrutinized area. Sound, video, lighting. Can't see them. Really, if you can't hear them,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Just
the
like
main
you heard
thing.
that siren go.
Yes.
by.
Right.
And that's the thing. I think that because it's so scrutiny, like you say, I think there's probably been one time on a Sunday morning that we were live that I walked away and went, that went perfect.
Yeah.
Probably one time. No,
No,
nobody
they're-
else
I don't think
There
I've
sees
ever
that.
said that.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm talking about for audio.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't.
Yeah.
From your audio side, that's be great. But if I'm looking at them like, oh, that camera shot.
Yeah,
ugh,
well,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I always loved, like, I would come in on Thursdays and I would program the lights by myself and listening to the music on the phone, and I would think, oh man, it looks so good, and then the band would make some changes
All
and
the time.
change cues, and so then I would run it on Sunday and go, yeah, that's not going to work.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Like,
It's ever
oh,
changing.
Yep.
It's ever changing, and it's.
But
and it's-
now
yeah.
they have Will Flavin,
Yeah.
who is, or Flavin, depending on how you want to pronounce it, and he is amazing and a lot better than me, and I am thankful that
Yeah.
he is here.
My favorite memory, or my favorite thing that Scott did here recently, is he walked in the municipal, and he looked around, and he looked at the lights, and he looked at everything, and he goes, "Yep, I don't miss it."
But once again,
you might just a slight bit.
I miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, just giving once again Will just another shout out, because Will is a
Well,
legit
okay, let's-
professional.
let's-
hold
let's-
on.
let's
He
do
is
that.
a professional
Yeah, thank you.
lighting guy
He's
who
good.
works in Nashville. He has been on the road with Charlie Puth, with Lana Del Rey, with a whole host of artists. So he does it every day. So that's why he is better. But he is so much better than me, and he is good at it, and he has design ideas, and he knows what works and what doesn't. But once again, because he is professional, and he's been doing that since he was 15. Because I remember, because my first memory of Will was when he was working for Paxton, and we were going to lunch. Or no, we were leaving a gig. Was it? We were going to
No,
lunch?
it
no,
was-
yeah,
he
we
was
were
our-
leaving.
we were
yeah, and he
leaving.
was waiting for his mom to pick him up, and I'm like, "Why are you waiting for your mom? What kind of guy waits for his mom?" He's like, "I'm 15." I was like, "Oh, my
Yeah.
bad," because he was working for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already had his own company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my little shout out to little Will Flavin.
And that's where, and in concern, just because this is backstage, and in concern for those guys is that it's been tough on the production industry.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jordan has lost money and income. Daniel has lost money and income because there are no shows.
Yeah, like
Right.
there's guys that I know, like some of Paxton guys that they're
Working
working.
construction.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
working construction because they have to. They don't
Yeah.
want to, but they have to because it's the only way they can make ends meet.
Yeah, and a lot of these big time sound engineers and production managers, I mean, they're all. I mean, I give it to them, man. They're out. They're working at Home Depot. They're making men's eat. They're doing what they can. Men's.
Right.
Men's
Meat.
eat, ends meet.
Ends
I'm
meet.
always hungry.
Men's
Yeah.
eat.
It's all good.
Men's do eat.
But but like for Will and those guys, I mean, we are fortunate to be able to provide some sort of income.
Yeah.
Not a great amount, not like what they're getting out when they're on the road, but something to be able to say, hey, come work for us, and as long as it's because it won't be that way forever. We all know that.
Yeah. So continue to give
Yeah.
at 1-800. No, I'm kidding.
Hey. But it does go to help these guys out to be able to have some sort of income
Yeah,
during the
'cause-
time, and it benefits us as the church to be able to have a person that's has that ability and can do that in lighting, and all of these guys just to say, because they probably never get shout outs and we're all behind the scenes, but Jordan, tell me your team that works with you and what they do.
So Daniel Kelly, he's our broadcast engineer. So
If you might recognize him because he has long hair.
long hair.
Loves
long hair.
Ghostbusters and loves Star Wars.
Yes,
so
he
he's
does.
a friend of mine.
Yeah,
got an
he's also
X-wing on
very
his leg.
quiet.
Yeah.
He is. But
love
he's
him,
our
though.
broadcast engineer, so anything that comes out to the app and all that stuff all goes through his all
So
goes
if you
through
have
his
any
console.
complaints, it's dk@gmail.com. No, I'm kidding.
So there's that, and then we have a monitor engineer, Chris Ware, which he does all the mixing for the band so that they can hear all their individual stuff and all that. And so
Bless him.
yes,
Yeah.
that's our team, and yeah,
I was expecting more names.
yeah. Well,
Well-
I mean, we have
No, I mean talking about on your team.
Well, and they specifically work with the band
They're
and
just
with
the sound
audio.
guys.
I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in that. So it just sounds like a small team, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
well,
with
and the
them,
team's
each one.
gotten really small because
COVID.
all of our volunteers. Like, we had guys that would come and help and set up band gear and plug in cables and set up microphones and do all that stuff. And
Yeah.
we're set up. I mean, it's
gosh, that's so nice.
It is nice.
It's nice, but you miss the
dismiss
people.
the people of
You miss
them
the people.
doing that.
Smith the
so,
people.
Smith the people.
you know.
Yep, Smith the people.
And then under the video world, we have Joe, who I'm gonna give a big shout out to because he's like the
Who is
Joe
he?
of all trades.
I don't know him.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Joel.
I'm kidding.
He was supposed to be here today, couldn't. He's delivering
He's
your
working.
packages right
yeah,
now.
he is USPS. He's
Yeah.
retired military, Master Chief, E9. Hoorah. Is that Hoorah Air Force? No, that's
No,
Marines.
Air Force.
Sorry.
That's
Air Force is, I don't know. Go
don't think
fly
they
a
have
plane.
one.
That's
yeah.
I don't think they have one.
But he
Go fly a
is
plane.
a retired chief, and he basically helps with all the technical portions of the video. So if you understanding video and knowing that it's signal flow and where things are going and how cameras are hooked up here and where they're going from there and where's this, how is this set up. He also helps me with my camera guys and scheduling them and making sure that they're kind of trained on what's going on. And we've gotten way better at that. Again, it's been allowing us to be able to train. Daniel Dooley, also, he's the director of the morning show and the sermon.
And how far do you and Dooley go back?
Too far.
Yeah.
Farther than anybody in this room.
Daniel Dooley and Chip basically grew up in
I met him when I was 15,
Yeah.
14, 15.
Yeah.
We went to high school together.
yeah, and then you had Lost Boys Productions,
Lost Boys
which I was
Production.
a part of.
Yeah, Lost Boys Productions. That
That's
was
a
little
cool
lighting.
name.
Thank
Yeah.
you. We
They
were
bring
lost.
it back one day.
We were lost.
Still are.
Still are.
Can I join?
Following the leader. That's what I.
With the Pimpski.
Anyway, yeah. So Daniel and I go way back. He's a good friend, and he is in charge of all the video direction of happening on the morning show and the sermon and stuff.
Which I do miss our conversations on the headsets.
Yeah, yeah.
With Dooley and I.
I'm glad I never
Moving
had a headset.
on. So, Jennifer Moreland is our stage manager. She pretty much takes care of all of us. And
Sorry, I just remembered something. I got to get her measurements
yes,
for something we're doing.
Yeah, she told
in
me
the
about that
future.
yesterday,
Yeah,
so-
that's my bad. Sorry,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
so-
Sorry for listening, Jennifer. I'm sorry. I'll get them to you right away.
Jennifer runs the
Shirt measurements.
Okay.
runs the show in the sense of the cues and everything that happens and making sure that there's really just kind of everything.
Yeah, she runs that stage with an iron fist.
Yeah,
She do.
But it's covered in like fleece though, so it's a soft iron fist.
yeah. And then Kat is also somebody who's been able to take care of the
Not
main
a
computer.
Kat, Catherine.
Catherine.
Your Kat.
Catherine Coker.
My
Or
cat.
Catherine. I think Catherine.
Yo,
Coker.
sweet little Isabel's running the computer, just with a little pause. Sorry, I went off script. Sorry. Yes, Kat.
Slightly.
Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
also our
receptionist. Yeah.
I almost called her secretary, but I knew that wasn't right.
So she takes care of all that, does a great job with the main computer, and that's basically following Justin. She has the hardest job. She has to. She told me yesterday. She said, "Well, it's taken me 3 years, and I finally figure out where Justin's going, because she's basically having to read his mind to see what's the next point that he's doing." So she's following along and putting all those things up on the screen and the videos and all of that stuff. And then Will obviously talked about him as doing the lighting, and then we have a newest member is Stephen Posey, and Stephen is basically the director of all the band shoots now.
Is it any relation to Jonathan Posey?
No,
They're
no.
not. He's
No.
a Shreveport Posey.
Yeah, he's a
Didn't know
Shreveport
there was a
Posey.
difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Stephen is calling the shots and cues for the cameras now when we're doing the band shoot. So he works on Wednesdays with us, and then we have a great group of guys that shout out to Sean and
Gary.
Dr. Rick and Gary and
Don't shout out to Dr. Rick. He doesn't deserve a shout out.
Adam and Meredith and all of those guys. And they really have worked. I mean, they have worked for 8 months every Wednesday to make sure that this happens and is recorded each
And
week.
most of them have other jobs or
I
they're in
was-
school.
I was about to bring up, well, not just jobs, but I was about to say that the other part of doing Wednesday night is that Will does another church on Sunday morning.
Yep.
Stephen Posey works at another church on Sunday morning. A lot of the band guys play at other churches on Sunday morning. So the other part of doing Wednesday is the personnel.
Yeah.
It allows us to have that personnel.
I mean,
we
have the
wouldn't
best
normally have.
people around. Where, if it was just a normal Sunday morning, we
'cause
we
they
wouldn't
would be
have all
somewhere
those
else.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's been a very good learning experience for us to be able to do this, and it's involved a lot of different people to be able to have it done differently. How it looks in the future, I have no idea. We'll see how things patch out.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it'll be better than it's ever been.
Yeah. So we'll stay tuned to that. But the best thing about our area is that we can adapt and adapt to wherever we're at. So to be able to go to different venues and be able to conform to wherever we're at to make service happen is a really good thing. So it keeps us very flexible on the way that we do things.
Yeah, and real quick as we get ready to close, sound like a pastor. And as we close, please remember. No, I do want to just go back to just the production people. For those of you that do enjoy your live events and all that, I mean, those people really are struggling. I mean, there's large companies and medium-sized companies in Nashville that are closing.
Yep.
We know one personally that we know people that work there, and they're done. They're out of business. And Live Nation, who is one of the largest production companies in the world, came out and said, we're not doing any indoor live events till 2022. And that hurts a lot of people, and it's more than just the artists that live in the big house that have plenty of money. It's the little people that we know personally that are really struggling to get by.
Yeah, when we go back, I think you're going to see a lot of people that have gone to get or had to go get other jobs. You're going to see a lot of people not come back.
Yeah, which is a bit sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring it down on a sad
Yeah,
note.
it's not a sad note because it will get better, but it is a sad note in the sense that we're having to, adjust.
And the good news is, though, maybe this is the cynic in me, but because of those companies going out of business, there's some good deals out there, kids.
Hey.
But we want to say a special thanks to Paxton Sound.
Yes.
Because Eric Paxton is a good friend of mine. And he has really helped us out through this process to his detriment. So I ended up having to say, yeah, we're going to have to pay you a little bit more because he was, not charging enough. So
He's the nicest guy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I remember because some of his guys complain because he just gives stuff, and they're like,
Dude, okay.
why didn't he charge you for that? I'm like, I don't know. Ask him.
I worked for Eric for probably 2 years full time, and we would have a, like, hey, we're taking this and this and this and this. And so we'd load the trucks, and Eric would show up. Y'all got everything? Yeah, we got it all. It's all in the truck. All right, cool. Hey, let's grab 5 more lights, and let's grab that and that and that. And we're like, oh, well, we didn't see that on the notes. Nah, we're just going to take it anyway. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he throw in free gear all the time for everybody.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Once again, it wasn't just us. I mean, he just does that for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. So it's cool. He's a cool guy.
You're Paxton.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, the two of you, for being here. One of you for having to be here. I'm going to shout out to you every podcast now.
That's fine. I'm going to be right over in that corner drinking
Just
coffee.
Sitting there and just oddly staring at us.
I will. You know what I'll probably do?
What?
I'm going to get a different mask every week. Like not a COVID mask, but like an actual mask.
Yeah, I know somebody that knows
gonna
where
sit
plenty
over
of
there.
them are who used
Okay.
to work for a Halloween store.
Bring me some.
All right. And Chip, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
giving, because I
Enjoyed
know
it.
your schedule is extremely busy right now.
Yeah, it's fun, but we're
right.
making it
I
happen.
appreciate
We're making
it.
it happen. But thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
Scott.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having us
Hey.
here.
You're welcome. Thank you. I don't know why. It's this weird thing. When I get this mic in front of me, I turn into NPR.
I don't
And
know who
now,
that
all
is.
things considered. You don't know what NPR is?
No.
National Public Radio?
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Oh, my God. Anyway, thank y'all so much. Subscribe and listen today.